It's your 45-minute security program on Vero Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Okhria Agbosuremi, and welcome to Public Intel. Let's begin the show with the latest top security stories that made the headlines during the week. 6 out of 10 kidnapped Federal Road Safety Corps officers still in custody of bandits. And also during the week, we saw a story that says Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC deploys 1,500 officers for Edo pool. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, rescues 135 victims, arrests 86 suspected human traffickers in Kano State. Also, during the week, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, arrests 2 lecturers, 28 others for alleged internet fraud. Jubilation as Burutai extends Operation Sanity. Also during the week, Ndume hails military for providing security amenities in Borno State. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, arrests suspects with 2,000 bank account details and ATM cards. Pleased to deploy over 30,000 personnel for election statement, according to the Inspector General of Police. Buhari signs Police Bill 2020 into law. Wike redeems 30 million naira pledged to police over Bobo Sky's arrest. And finally, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and Air Force deploys assets for maritime security. Let's quickly hear from Okhria Agbosuremi, who would be analyzing some of the headlines with us. He is a veteran journalist and then also the Director, Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. You're very much welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, what are your thoughts about the deployment of security agencies in large number to Edo State?
I think it shows how serious we are as a people.
Okay.
It shows that we still continue to need to be penetrated all around, to be told what is appropriate to be done. It shows that we are still very, very far from the maturity that is required to practice democracy. If you go out there where we borrowed from, you don't even know that there's an election. You don't even know that there's election going on. There's no restriction. There's no holidays. People go to work and they just stop by, cast their vote. Some from using the instrumentality of technology to vote from home, and they don't just, let alone have a place on like it's under siege. Even the Federal Road Safety Corps, you want to wonder why. What is the problem? I mean, the police.
Also deployed.
Yes, you want to. What is the problem? I mean, what is the problem? Now, this is one of those off-cycle elections. The off-cycle elections as a result of court judgments. When Oshomole came in the last time, it was like the decision came at the time. By the time he took the oath of office, his tenure began to run from the day he took it. So it shifted the election date. It is not just those states. We have several of them, over 14 states that have off-cycle elections. And assuming that, Corey, we have a general election where all the states, like we do have, maybe in 2023, like we had in 2019, and you want to deploy the number of policemen we are into a particular state, it's laughable. But again, we must commend the security agencies for doing the deployment. Because when I say we are not serious, the police and the other security agencies, the DSS, all the other arms that are able to keep the security, they recognize that the tension in Edo is so much that unless people see guns in the hands of the policemen or the number of policemen who are
otherwise they would not vote.
Otherwise, not just that they will not vote.
Okay.
But there could be violence.
Okay. So do you think the amount of security officials deployed to Edo State is enough reason for them to feel that they are very much secured to go out to vote?
Relatively.
Okay.
Relatively, because even the presence of security alone sends a bad message. So there are some people who would ordinarily just be scared because there's so much security around. Because you want to ask, why are the policemen, why are we deploying, even soldiers at the fringes? They probably are not in the city, but at least so that at when you blow the whistle, they can quickly move in case there's overpowering of the policemen. Okay. Some persons will naturally feel that it is not even safe to go out and vote. So that is why there's fear in the civil society group, like we have seen, that there may be apathy. And apathy is a problem in the Nigerian electoral system. 84 point something million put their they registered to vote in Nigeria. 84 million, above 84 million. Out of the 84 million, 74 picked up their PVC. The 74 million that picked up their PVC, only 28 million people came out to vote in 2019 out of 74 million. Of course, you know the arithmetic. It's not even up to half that came out to vote. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today, President Muhammadu Buhari, was elected by just 15 million people.
The gap was just too much. The
demographers say we have up to 130, 120, 25, 30 million people who are above 18 years who can vote, but we only have the president elected by 15. It's a shame. So apathy is already a problem. Then when you now add security to it, people get apprehensive. Although the security is actually supposed to, the security deployment is supposed to solve a problem, it itself presents a challenge to a certain category of people who will say, look, I cannot stand this, let me just sit down in my house. So you have those who will be deterred by the fear of violence, and you have those who will be deterred by the presence of security themselves. Okay,
going through more headlines, we during the week, NAPTIP rescued 135 trafficked persons and of course 86 suspected humans. Now the thing is this, the question is this: we seem to be growing in this thing. How can we possibly eradicate this trafficking business out of Nigeria?
Because we relish in it. We have done it over the years, over the ages. This trafficking we are talking about, it didn't start yesterday. They started before our parents were born. Remember that when the slave traders came in here, they made slave trade here. I mean, slave trade was part of our culture. We had slaves. So it was easy for them to understand, oh, you have slaves, and they brought mirrors and brought powder and brought ornaments for us, and we give them our children, give them our brothers and our sisters.
So Nigerians copied out of that.
It's not a question of copy. We were the owner of it.
Okay.
It's not a matter of copy. We didn't copy from anywhere. We have been in this business. Now, if you transit, if you take it further, when slave trade stopped, and we started to now stay on our own, the lure to go to Europe, the lure to go around and do the menial jobs and get those things, and the people trading in. I guess you have read the story of the Nigerians and the Africans in Libya. So it's not just going for economic reasons. Some people actually traded out. They are treated. I just read a story of a young girl who was taken to Russia by a pastor for prostitution. So it is something that we ought to sit down as a people and ask ourselves, what exactly do we want in this area? Because they are Nigerians. There are people who we know them. We have NAPTIP that was set up essentially to solve this problem.
So
but the challenge is enormous, because there are vested interests, people who naturally have made up their mind that they will traffic in, and they come with a lot of stories. And because of, some say, economic pressure on the people, so they tell them stories and they agree, and then they take them up. By the time they get to Europe and other places, they discover that it is not business they came there to do, but it is the business of sex. And it is just trading. They have come and they have sold them until they pay themselves off, they cannot come back.
How can we eradicate this in the country?
The way to eradicate it is for our leaders to know that there's a problem. And you go to the root of the problem. You see, what we have now, a cosmetic attitude. We wait by the border, we arrest them, somebody cry in Europe, and we go there. But we should go to the roots. I'm from a state where in Edo State where a lot of the people, a very high percentage of people are actually trafficked because they take them out telling them stories. The government should be able to sit down and say, how do we take this through traditional rulers, the traditional institution? And I want to commend the Oba of Benin. He placed a course. He called everybody and said, look, our children shouldn't be taken out. He's not saying that people cannot voluntarily go abroad, but that when you trick them and tell them, well, you are going to make money, it got to a point where in Nigeria, I mean in this country, where husbands allow their wife to go because of economic reasons. And when they get there, they discover that it is not.
It is not what it is. Now, the Chief of Army Staff has extended Operation Sanity, and this is coming after he said last week that there is a lot of transformation going on in the Nigerian Armed Forces. Now, do you think this is one of it?
I think we continue to see a revolution. When I say revolution, I mean a change of tactics, introduction of certain new things. And it's natural. Okay. It's natural, and it's also good for the military, because when you try a method, if it doesn't work or it has exhausted it has, you have completely used up the system. It's no longer useful. You have to adapt, and it's that adaptation. Because remember, Dakore, that when you are having a particular operations, the enemies get used to it. They understand where you are going to come from. Sometimes these tactics and the operations that are changed are as a result of intelligence gathering. That look, those guys are getting used to it. We cannot get the kind of results. So there's a switch. So I think it is good. It's good. It's good for them to once in a while, and it also shows off the confidence of the public. When we see our soldiers, our military people come up with these ideas and they are moving on, it is just for us to, even if we cannot join them, clap for them. Give them all the encouragement that they require to be able for them to do their job. Many people who criticize these military people don't know what it takes in the war front.
In the field.
I joined them in doing criticisms over the corruption that is embedded in the entire system. But our brothers and our sisters are dying in the war front. You don't understand what exactly they are going through. But if they are open enough to say, this is how much we are spending, this money is justified in doing that, less criticism will come, and we're able to cooperate with them and assist them to do their job.
Yesterday, we read on the papers about Buhari signing the Police Bill 2020 into law. Now, what does this mean for the people of, what does this mean to the people in the police force and, of course, the Nigerians?
The police, at some point, when I heard you say police force, there was a time they said we should not add force to it. That the term force connotes a kind of force, and that the police is a civil organization, and that we should just see them as part and parcel of the civilian population. Of course, they are not civilians. They probably are not as hard as the military. Now, the police bill into act is one of those ways to continue to redefine, reassess. We do a lot of criticism in Nigeria, and unfortunately, unless it is in law, we do not believe it can work. Some countries don't have as many laws, up to 2% of the laws that we have. We make laws on everything. The law to even walk on the road. We will get to a point where even to breathe, we will make law. Because we have just been so accustomed, maybe the fallout of the military thing that is wearing off very slowly, that unless there's a law, we cannot behave. Certain countries don't even have as much law, as much as 20% of the laws that we have, but they operate and they just have rules that they go out. The British don't have even written laws. They don't even have a constitution. It's just pockets of court judgments here and there, resolutions from the House of Commons and the others, and then they piece them together, and that they are operating. But here we must make laws. Even if we have not implemented the previous one, we will make another one. So we create agencies, we create subheads, we create overheads, and make it possible for everything to be good. I have not read the details of the police
the bill signed into law,
but whatever the intents and purposes is to improve the services of the police, I believe.